Ever feel like you're at one of those crazy intersections where everyone's trying to go in a different direction at the same time? Work's pulling you one way, family's got their needs, and maybe you've got your own passions calling too.
Yeah, definitely.
But under all of that, there's this feeling like there's something bigger at play, some deeper current that's kind of shaping everything.
Right.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to deep dive into today, those conflicting forces that are shaping our experience.
It's like a core part of being human, isn't it? We're always dealing with outside pressures, practical stuff, societal trends, you name it.
Absolutely.
But what's really fascinating is what's going on inside, the internal stuff.
Yeah.
The sources we're looking at today shed some light on these inner forces. They actually call them spiritual and karmic forces.
Interesting.
These forces are like woven into who we are at the deepest level.
I like that, woven into who we are. And you know what really struck me in these sources? It's this core tension between the pull of the material world.
Right, all the instant gratification.
Exactly, versus this quieter, I don't know, almost like a spiritual yearning for something bigger.
Yeah, that pull towards something deeper.
And that's what we're going to try to unpack in this deep dive, how these forces affect us.
You, me, the listeners, everyone.
Right. And ultimately what it all means.
So, ready to dive in?
Let's do this.
Okay, so we all know about the external forces, the stuff that's going on around us. But the real heart of the matter is inside, and our sources introduce this concept of karmic forces.
Karmic forces, okay.
They describe them as incredibly powerful, almost like invisible threads.
So threads.
Yeah, threads that kind of bind us and make demands on us.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Go on.
Think of them like deeply ingrained patterns, tendencies linked to our essence, to who we really are.
Okay.
And then the material introduces this fascinating trio of forces that keep us hooked to the material world.
Okay, lay on me.
Attraction, desire, and attachment.
Attraction, okay. Seems pretty harmless on the surface, right? Like being drawn to a nice painting.
Sure, yeah. Or a good conversation, something like that. But our sources say it goes way deeper.
Deeper? How so?
They say it operates on a subconscious level sometimes, without us even realizing it.
Interesting.
One quote even says, "We may not initially be aware of the effect a particular attraction will have on us. It may be seemingly innocent, and even though we may be aware of the destructive consequences this attraction could have on our lives, we still may not be able to resist the person, situation, or thing that attracts us."
Wow, that's powerful. Not able to resist, even when we know it might not be good for us.
Yeah, the mind gets kind of enchanted by the world and its attractions, so we're constantly looking outward without even realizing the long-term impact.
It's like that magnetic pull, even when you have that gut feeling telling you to be careful.
Exactly.
And I can see how attraction naturally leads to desire.
Oh, absolutely.
You see something you like, and then you want it.
Attraction sparks the fire, and desire pours gasoline on it, right?
And those desires, they can become pretty intense.
Totally. It's all about wanting.
The sources emphasize that when we get caught up in wanting something so bad,
When we're desperate for it.
yeah, we can lose our clear thinking. We might even ignore the consequences.
Blindly chasing after what we want.
It's that I need to have this feeling, and it can overpower everything else.
Totally. And the material talks about the illusion of eternal material comfort. We fool ourselves into thinking that our money will always be there.
That our loved ones will be with us forever.
Right. It's comforting, but it's a delusion.
It's temporary.
And tying this back to the bigger picture, strong, unfulfilled desires.
Yeah.
The text says they lead to reincarnation.
Reincarnation. Because of unfulfilled desires.
Yeah, if we're clinging to those strong desires when we die, we have to come back to try and fulfill them.
Wow.
It's a cycle that keeps us bound to this world, all driven by wanting things.
And then we have attachment.
Attachment, the tricky one.
We start by just appreciating the good stuff in life, right?
Sure, a nice home.
Good relationships.
Enjoyable experiences.
But the danger, according to our sources, is when that appreciation turns into clinging.
Right, when it becomes unhealthy attachment.
Our happiness becomes dependent on those external things.
And the text says it straight up.
Okay, what's the quote?
It says, "Karmas won't bring you back. It is our attachment to the creation which brings us back."
Wow, that's powerful. So it's not just our actions, our karma.
It's our attachment, our clinging to things that brings us back.
Even people with limited inner progress.
If they're truly detached, they won't necessarily come back.
That's mind-blowing.
It shows how even positive emotions like love for family and friends.
Can become traps if we're not careful.
It's natural to feel affection.
But when it becomes a desperate need to hold on,
That's when it becomes a problem.
and there are subtler forms of attachment too, right?
Absolutely. We can get attached to our thoughts,
Our beliefs.
even our perceptions of the world.
We identify with them so strongly,
Letting go can feel scary.
like we're losing a part of ourselves.
It's not just external things. Our inner world can be a source of attachment, too.
And then there's what they call the greatest attachment of all.
The attachment to ourself.
That image we see in the mirror.
The sources say we misunderstand our true nature.
We think this physical form, our ego and mind, are who we are.
We build our sense of self around that.
But it's a false identity.
It creates a barrier to our true, more expansive nature.
So the spiritual journey is about dismantling this false self
Letting go of that illusion.
and reconnecting with our true divine essence.
But it's not easy.
Detachment sounds good in theory.
Letting go of deep attachments, whether to loved ones or our own identity, can be really hard.
It's challenging.
It makes us question who we really are.
And what truly matters.
And the sources offer an interesting point.
Okay, what's that?
They say, we will experience the consequences of our karma regardless of our attachment.
So whether we're attached or not.
The real question is, what kind of experience do we want to have while going through those karmic cycles?
All right, do we want to be dragged along by attachments?
Or move through them with a sense of inner freedom?
So we've talked about this downward pull of the material world.
Yeah, attraction, desire, attachment.
But the sources introduce a counterforce. They call it the most powerful of all forces.
The spiritual force of Shabd.
Shabd. Okay.
It's an inward, upward spiritual current, like a divine sound or vibration at the eye center.
It's the opposite of the mind's tendency to pull us downward and outward.
Exactly, and this creates the tug-of-war we experience.
Between the world's pull and the call of our spiritual essence.
Right.
And this Shabd, this spiritual sound current, is described in such profound ways.
There's a quote from a master that says, Shabd and soul are in essence the same as God.
That's a powerful statement, connecting the Shabd and soul directly to God.
It highlights this natural spiritual attraction between the soul and its source.
God's pulling the soul homeward through the Shabd.
But the mind resists, clinging to the world and its distractions.
So the goal, as the sources say, is to detach from the material world and reunite with the Lord.
But we're often clueless about this whole thing.
Yeah, unaware of our true origin and potential.
Our attention's constantly focused outwards.
So we miss this inner calling.
And detachment isn't a sudden event.
It's a gradual process.
It takes consistent effort and inner work.
And there's this really interesting point they make.
Oh yeah, what's that?
They say it's impossible to fully detach from the world unless we attach to something else.
Something internal, of a higher nature.
The Shabd.
It makes sense we can't just create a void.
Our attention needs to be directed somewhere.
So we redirect it inward, towards the Shabd.
And that's where Simran comes in.
It's a Simran.
It's an inner practice, a way to disentangle the soul from the body and mind.
Like remembering our true nature.
Without this practice, the material world just keeps feeling real and all-consuming.
And the spiritual path feels like a fantasy.
It's like we're standing at this crossroads, the intersection of materialism and spirituality.
Yeah, one foot in the material world, the other reaching for something more.
And the key is to take that leap.
To fully plant our other foot in spirituality.
Move beyond just believing and into experiencing.
To make the Shabd a living reality.
And the tool for this is meditation.
The golden key.
It helps us connect with and attach to the Shabd.
Which in turn weakens our entanglement with the physical world.
It makes you wonder why we spend so much time chasing temporary things.
When we have this incredible spiritual opportunity,
This chance to become one with the Lord.
it's a question of priorities, understanding our true potential.
Absolutely. And as we meditate more deeply,
The master's pull intensifies.
drawing us closer,
Our desires and attachments to the world lessen.
love for the divine grows.
And the Shabd becomes our reality.
So to wrap up this deep dive, we've explored this inner tug-of-war.
The material world versus our spiritual essence.
The pull of attraction, desire, and attachment.
And the counterforce of the Shabd.
It's all about where we choose to focus our attention.
And you, the listener, should think about what forces are at play in your life.
What are you attached to?
Understanding this is the first step to navigating it consciously.
Meditation is a practical tool for this.
It's the golden key to shifting your attention inward
Connecting with the Shabd.
and unlocking a deeper spiritual reality.
So we leave you with this question.
If our true essence is divine,
And our goal is to reunite with that source,
what small shift can you make in your daily focus?
to tip the balance in favor of your spiritual journey.
Explore that and see where it leads you.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. Until next time, take care.